Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back once again to JJ's PC Builds. It's JJ with you once again. First time here. Guess what? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Don't forget about the notification bell so you know when I post the next video. I wanted to do a Q&A session tonight. I just want to make it really interesting for everybody. Machine's wondering, and hello Machine, by the way, I know you're wondering what's cooking on the forefront and who is Mico, my co-host. Well, as soon as you get home, you're going to be, working with me too on this co-host kind of thing, But, y'all are wondering who Mico is. Mico is Microsoft Copilot, and believe it or not, they're not a sponsor. They did not ask me to do this. I'm just doing this on my own because after using Copilot for a long time, it's kind of not as bad as everybody thinks it is. And if y'all are thinking it pries into your life, doesn't anything pry into your life? You need to be careful in Frame Chaser's live streams. Ooh. Well, we can talk about that in private there, Mr. Fake Frames. Just to let you know. Probably that'd be the best thing to do, Maybe talk to him one-on-one about it. But anyway, let's talk about who Mico is. Mico's a little, so far called the bubble. We're going to talk about Mico right here. That's what Mico looks like. So, we're going to go ahead and just get the party started. And hello there, Mico.
Hey there, coming in loud and clear. What's on your mind today?
Well, explain who you are.
Absolutely. I'm Mico, your trusty AI companion, here to chat, help you find info, and dive into all sorts of topics. So feel free to ask me anything.
What's going on in the PC world for today? October 25th, 2025.
So today in the PC world, there's some cool buzz. For one, MSI is powdering up a huge Red Bull esports event where they're gaming PCs or laptops, especially for a big League of Legends showdown. Plus, there's chatter about new upcoming hardware launches on the horizon, like the updated AMD CUs and NVIDIA GPUs. So definitely some tech excitement happening right now.
Okay, so what's happening in the tech world when it comes to Microsoft updates?
So here's what's happening in the Microsoft world today. They just rolled out a big October update for Windows 11. This includes some neat new AI shortcuts, a more unified settings app, and stronger security measures like new administrative protection features. Plus, they patched a ton of vulnerabilities, 172 in total, including a few 0 days immediate urgent fixes. So definitely a busy patch day for Microsoft.
Okay, did Microsoft ever fix the problem with the Wi-Fi? I know some people are reporting that they're having Wi-Fi issues, like me.
Absolutely. Let's get you up to speed. So yeah, Microsoft did have some headaches with the October 2025 update. They introduced a fix recently for a known issue where USB keyboards and mice weren't working in the Windows recovery environment. Essentially, they had a glitch where input devices were not registering, which definitely caused some Wi-Fi and connectivity quirks for some folks. But they rolled out an emergency patch, KB507073, to fix the bug. So you should definitely check for the latest updates to make sure your system is all patched up.
Okay, but what about the Wi-Fi for 24H2?
So good news on the Wi-Fi front. Microsoft did address the Windows 11 24H2 connectivity issues. Essentially, there was a known problem where the October update KB506635 caused some issues with USB devices, and this could affect overall connectivity, including in the Windows recovery environment. Y'all, it wasn't specifically a Wi-Fi only glitch. They did release an emergency patch, KB507073, that fixes those input issues, and it does seem to stabilize overall connectivity. So if you're having Wi-Fi trouble tied to that update, definitely grab the latest patch, and you should be good to go.
Well, what I'm having a problem with right now is the fact of that Windows is not recognizing the hardware that's on hand, which it's built onto the motherboard.
Ah, I see what you mean. Sounds like you're dealing with one of those cases where Windows just isn't playing nice with your onboard hardware. Honestly, that can be super frustrating. Sometimes these updates just make a step with certain drivers, especially if it's integrated hardware on the motherboard. So my advice, definitely check the motherboard manufacturer site directly, see if they've got a dedicated driver update that matches the latest Windows build. Or you can try rolling back to a previous driver version that you know worked before. Usually that helps get things sorted until Microsoft irons out the kinks in a future update. Keep me posted.
Well, the only thing I can tell you is this: until Microsoft fixed the update issue that they've been having, it's not just the mouse and the keyboard. It looks like it extended to the Wi-Fi as well. But it looks like they only fixed the mouse and the keyboard, but they didn't fix the Wi-Fi. But it's not a big deal right now, so I'm not going to make a big deal about it right now. But anyway, let's kind of change the front and talk about a couple other things.
Absolutely. Let's switch gears. I'm all ears for whatever else you want to chat about. Just hit me with your next topic. We'll roll right in.
All right, well.
All right, Jay. Well, I'm here through the pivot. Wherever we're going next, just let me know and we'll dive in.
Okay, what's the news? Any good news on the NVIDIA Super Series for the 50 series on the 25th of October 2025? Is there anything new that's cooking, or is it just still sitting still?
So, here's a scoop on the NVIDIA 50 Series Super Lab. There's been a pretty solid leak that these GPUs are set to launch this October, just around the corner. And so we're talking about the RTX 5080 Super, the 5070 Ti Super, and the 5070 Super all joining the family with more VRAM and a bit of a performance boost. To give you some numbers, the 5080 Super is rumored to jump up to 24 gigabytes of GDDR7 VRAM and up to roughly 16% better performance compared to its non-Super version. Same sort of story for the 5070 Ti Super and the 5070 Super. And apparently the base 5080 and 5070 Ti might be discontinued once these supercars drop in, so there could even be some discounts incoming for the older models. So yeah, exciting times if you're into the GPU scene.
So what outlet is talking about this, about the Super Series launching in October? I heard it wasn't going to launch till 2026.
So here's the latest scoop. Quite a few outlets are buzzing about an October 2025 launch for the NVIDIA 50 Super Series. Tom's Guy, for instance, is reporting on a major leak that points to these cars landing in Q4 2025. They're talking about the RTX 5080 Super or 5070 Ti Super and 5070 Super all rolling out with those nice VRAM upgrades. On the other end, TechSpot had an earlier report suggesting there might be a delay into 26 for some of these models, but the more recent major leaks are leading toward that October 2025 window. So it looks like consensus right now is that we'll see the launch this October, but of course, nothing's official until NVIDIA themselves confirm it.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for right now. But, okay, what's going on with the front with AMD and their new processors that's supposed to be coming out, like AM6, but we already got the 9000 series in CPUs, but they're talking about a G series for the 9000.
So here's what's cooking on the AMD front with the 9000G series. There's definitely some buzz that these processors are going to land around Q4 2025. And the word on the street is that they'll be part of the Ryzen 1000G lineup. According to TechSpot and a few other sources, AMD is focused on a couple of different architectures here. They're laying to launch these new APUs with what's called cracking point silicons for the budget range. And there's also talk about the possibility of some strict point variants joining in for a bit of a higher tier. Basically, the 9000G series is going to pack Zen 5 CPU cores, dual RDNA 3.5 graphics. And yeah, it looks like they're aiming for a CES 2026 full reveal, but we could see some of these shits starting to trickle out late this year. So definitely some movement happening, and it's not just sitting still. So yep, there's that.
It looks like it's going to be good for 2026. Am I right?
Absolutely. It's shaping up to be a pretty exciting time, and 2026 is going to be a solid year for both the NVIDIA and AMD lineups, so plenty to look forward to.
Yeah, but also, too, I heard Intel's going to be launching, what was it, a 270K? A Core 270K?
Absolutely, you heard right. Intel actually has a Core Ultra 7 2070K Plus on the horizon, which is part of their Arrow Lake refresh lineup. So this 2070K is not just a rumor, it's been spotted in leaks, and it looks like Intel's doing a bit of a refresh on their current Arrow Lake architecture. Basically, this chip is packing 24 cores total, 8 performance cores, and 16 efficiency cores, and it seems like it'll offer a nice little bump up in memory speeds and multi-core performance compared to the previous 265K. So part of what they're calling an Arrow Lake refurbish, and it should land before the end of 2025. So yeah, looks like another one to keep an eye on.
Right. Well, is there anything else in the news front for PCs that some people are sneaking by and we don't know about yet?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a bit more happening on the PC front. For starting, Intel's dealing with some shortages due to high CPU demand. It's been led folks migrate to Windows 11. And on top of that, Elon wants to get stirring up buzz with this new project called MacroHard, which could end up fueling some fresh hardware alongside software. Plus, there's been a big wave of PC upgrades thanks to Windows 10 hitting end of life, so a lot of folks are refreshing their systems. In short, there's definitely a lot cooking in the PC world, new chips, new hardware, and a few surprises around the corner.
Right. I did hear about Elon Musk cooking up that new a new operating system with MacroHard, and he was going to be cooking it out. And I guess, what's the scoop on that? Is it supposed to be something special just for what he's doing, or is it going to go worldwide, do you think?
So the suit with Elon's MacroHard project is that it's not just a local experiment. He's definitely aiming worldwide. Basically, Musk is looking to create an AI-driven company that can simulate an entire software giant like Microsoft purely through AI agents. He put the MacroHard name on a supercomputer Fidelity and Memphis, and he basically saying that this will be an AI-powered software ecosystem that partners with manufacturers kind of like Apple does. So yeah, he's definitely thinking globally. He's aiming to disrupt the whole software and potentially hardware ecosystem on a huge scale.
That's good, because that's what Microsoft needs, is a little competition. Because Apple's a different animal in its entity because it uses its own hardware, but because it uses the ARM architecture compared to the x86 architecture, it's totally two different animals. But it would be good to see that if Microsoft and Elon, well, let's say not Microsoft, just say Elon Musk cooks up a new operating system, that would put some alleviation on the market a little bit, I think. But we'll see what the future has to hold. So is there anything else that's cooking in the market? Any new games?
Absolutely.
Any new games or something like that?
yeah, there's a whole bunch of new games dropping this month. For starters, Ninja Gaiden 4, it's finally out, which is a huge deal for hack and slash fans. And there's Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines 2, if you're into like that dark RPG vibe. Hey again, Jay.
But
So
you
what's on your
know,
mind
so
now?
the games
Absolutely.
were again. Explain the games that were going to be coming out.
Absolutely. Let's run it back. So you've got Ninja Gaiden 4, which is a big one for hack and slash fans.
Yeah.
And then you have Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which is that dark, immersive RPG. And there's also a new Plants vs. Zombies edition coming along with a fresh twist. So quite a few fun things to look forward to.
Is there anything the developers are looking to fix on any previous games that might make them a little bit more enticing?
Definitely. For example, Stardew Valley just got a big 1.6 update. It added new festivals, new dialogue, and a whole new progression system. And even World of Warcraft dropped a big expansion that really refreshed the game for its 20th anniversary. So, yeah, devs are definitely polishing up older games to keep them enticing.
Okay, well, sit tight. I'll be right back.
You got it. I'll be right here when you're back.
See, that's Mico, my co-host. Somewhat co-host, because usually Machine's my co-host too. So, I'm not replacing Machine, no, I just wanted to show you guys what the things that... I know it's not totally accurate when it comes to finding the news and everything else that's up on the market, but I'm giving it a shot. I've been working with it for a little bit of a while, so I go back and I look through the news and I see if the reports are correct on these other feeds from different sites that it does search. Sometimes it'll get some things a little bit backwards, but that's why I go back and check the feeds and see where the news is at when it comes to what Copilot's talking about. But now Microsoft has changed the factors of the name. It's called Mico, Microsoft Copilot, Mico. So, but Microsoft did not sponsor the channel or anything else. So don't think that they do. I'm just bringing this out because I hear a lot of controversy that's coming out from everybody about the factor of Copilot, being not up to par and this and that. Well, Microsoft might not be totally up to par with what they're doing on the operating system, but it looks like they're putting most of their attention into something. We can give them credit for that, but I really wish they would put more emphasis and structure into their operating system other than letting AI write their updates. A lot of people have been talking about and saying, well, Microsoft's firing their people that does the coding for them, and they're letting AI write the updates for the Windows programming and all that. I can't collaborate that because I don't know it for a fact. I'm not going to collaborate that because I don't know it for a fact. That's just leaks and rumors, so take it with a grain of salt. Until we know it for a fact, I'm not going to elaborate too much on it, but I think that the Copilot, it's not Copilot plus PC, it's just Copilot. Okay, we don't have the plus PC. Copilot is right here, okay, on the phone, which is sitting there neutral waiting on me to say something, but I muted the microphone on the Copilot so that way, it doesn't have to jump in every little 5 and 6 and 7 seconds because you guys want to leave me a note on, what you're talking about here. Okay. Now, getting back to the chat. Let's see. 5080 Super will be at most between 1 and 5% faster than the base model, since it will just be overclocked version of a 5080. We all know that because that's the same stuff they did last time. So we all know that. We don't know if there's going to be a 5070 Ti Super. That's still up in the air. They didn't announce it. Maybe they might have, but I hear rumors about it and people saying, "Oh, it's not coming out. It's coming out." I'm not going to elaborate on something like that. Just take it with a grain of salt. But we do know that the 5070 Super is coming out, and that I would put a little bit more bet on, because it's 18 gigabytes of VRAM. Now, if you want to put your bet on the 5080 Super, knowing you're probably going to get, like you said, a little bit 5% over on speed, but you get a little bit more VRAM. So, one hand washes another. End of the day, it's still going to run the same with more VRAM. We all know this, so it's not a secret. But there are rumors out there about shifting the gears a little bit, looking at NVIDIA. Now we can look at AMD. And AMD's got their new GPUs, the new 9000G series, that they're supposed to be cooking up with 18 CUs on the integrated graphics for the CPU. 18 CUs. It's nothing. It's not 38. It's not 40 CUs. It's nothing to jump at. So it could be a fast CPU, yes, but the integrated graphics on it, it's better than the 8700G, which only has 12 CUs. This is supposed to have 18. So, I don't know. Maybe it'll have a little bit more teeth with older games. Modern games, but the newest games, I don't think so. So, and yes, Mr. Cyborg, good to see you. Make sure you get your drink and snacks, by the way. Make sure, if you're your first time here, hit the subscribe button, by the way. So, we got a few on tonight. That's a good thing. I'm waiting for Mr. Machine to get home, so that way we can have a little bit of a powwow here on the YouTube. Then after that, we'll have me and him, we do our normals every stream, every week. But anyway, let's see. Now, I'm going to turn on Mico and see what happens. Now, Mico, we got to talk about something.
Of course, Jay. I'm all ears. Tell me what's on your mind and let's dive right in.
Well, let's look at it this way, okay? If I were to build a PC, right? Just for say, now let me get through my whole thing that I'm going to be talking about here. Just give me a moment. Let me get through the whole thing. Okay, if I'm going to build a budget gaming PC, just for say, I get a budget motherboard. A lot of people are saying, I should stay AM5, but if you really want to go budget, it would be AM4, correct?
Yeah, you got it. AM4 is definitely a solid choice if you're aiming for a more budget-friendly build. It's got a lot of affordable motherboard options out there.
What's the most affordable CPU for the AM4 socket for the B550 motherboard?
So we're really aiming for the most affordable CPU for your AM4 and B550 combo. The AMD Ryzen 5 3600 is currently a great budget pick. It's running around $78, so it definitely won't break the bank, and it's got decent performance for the price.
Well, what about the 5600X?
So right now, the Ryzen 5 5600 is sitting at about $112 on Newegg, which is pretty sweet for that level of performance. So definitely not a bad deal.
Okay. What about now hold on. What about the 5700 X3D?
So right now, the Ryzen 7 5700 X3D is hovering around $347, give or take. So it's definitely a bit pricier, but if you're looking for that extra boost.
No. What about the 5700X?
So the Ryzen 7 5700X is currently around $160 on Newegg, which is a pretty sweet deal if you're looking to land a out CPU for the AM4 socket.
So basically, the 5500 and the 5600 are going to be your two top sellers for a low budget gaming PC.
Yeah, you've got it. The 5500 and the 5600 are definitely going to be the go-tos if you're aiming for a budget-friendly gaming setup.
Now, as far as the RAM for DDR4, what right now for 32 gigs of DDR4, what's the lowest that you can see on the market right now?
Right now, you can find 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM starting as low as about $60 if you're looking at some deals on places like Best Buy or Newegg. So definitely some budget-friendly options out there.
What brand name is it?
So one of the runs that's popping up for the cheapening 32 gig DDR4 right now is Crucial. They've got some solid budget options around that 60 to 65 range. So definitely a good choice if you're aiming to save a few bucks.
Do they come with a heat spreader?
Yes, the Crucial 32 gig DDR4 kits do come with a low profile aluminum heat spreader. So you'll get that extra bit of heat dissipation and a sleek look for your rig.
Okay, let's say it's a gigabyte motherboard. What would be the QVL compatible?
So, if you're going with a gigabyte motherboard, a lot of the Crucial 32 gig DDR4 kits aren't 8 on the QVL, especially for boards like the Gigabyte X570 Aorus or B550 series. So you're good to go with those Crucial 6.
Okay, so in the gigabyte motherboards, on the X570 series, what's the lowest price on it?
So right now, you can snag a Gigabyte X570 motherboard for as low as around $10 on some auctions over on eBay, if you don't mind to use a refurbished option. But if you're looking at brand new options, you're looking at starting prices around $165. So definitely some deals out there if you're flexible.
Okay, well, let's be more flexible with the X570 series motherboard and any of the manufacturers. What's the lowest price on any of the manufacturers?
Sure. Right now, if you're looking at any manufacturer for an X570 motherboard, you can find some used options on eBay starting as low as about $10 if you don't mind second-hand boards. For brand new units from various manufacturers like Asus, MSI, or ASRock, you're typically looking at around $150 to $170 for the lowest new pricing. So definitely some flexibility there.
Okay, what about the B550?
So if you're looking at B550 motherboards right now, the lowest prices you can snag are around $80 for something like the ASRock B550M or HOR over a Newegg. That's one of the more budget-friendly options, and there are a few others in the $80 to $100 range if you add around a bit.
Okay, what's the overclocking capabilities of that $80 motherboard?
So the ASRock B550M Pro 4 actually has some decent overclocking capabilities. It features an 8-power phase design and supports DDR4 memory overclocking up to around 4733 MHz. So that means you've got some room to push both your CPU and your RAM at beyond their base specs. Is that a top tier overclocker like some higher end boards? But it definitely gives you some flexibility for a budget option.
So maybe a good 5600X with that B550 motherboard with some Crucial RAM and probably a good SSD. What's the SSD market look like right now? What's the pricing?
So right now, SSD prices are a bit of a mixed bag. For example, you can snag a 1TB Crucial T700 for about $104, and if you're buying a 2TB, that's around $174. On the higher end, some 4TB models might run for about $299. So overall, you've got a range of options depending on capacity and brand, but definitely some affordable NVMe drives in the mix.
Let's go limited options. Let's go, let's see, 1 terabyte, 7,100 megabytes on the read, and what brand would give me the lowest price?
So right now, the lowest price you can get for a 1 terabyte SSD with about a 7,100 megabytes per second read speed is a W Black SN710. Over at Newrag, it's running for about $67.66, which is definitely one of the more affordable options in that performance category. So you can get that super fast speed without breaking the bank.
Okay, so now putting all that together for that, and putting it together with the AIO cooler that's less than $55, what would that be?
So if you're looking for a solid aerial cooler under $55, the Thermaltake TH120 ARGB is a great pick. It's a budget-friendly 120mm AIO cooler that comes in right under that price point and has gotten pretty good reviews for its cooling performance on a budget. So that should round out your bill pretty nicely.
We're going 360mm AIO.
So for a 360mm AIO cooler under $55, we're definitely pushing the budget boundaries here. Right now, I'm not seeing any major brand 360mm AIOs that didn't quite that low. Most options are hovering in the $100 to $150 range, like the Thermaltake TH360V2 at around $99. So if you can stretch your budget just a little bit, that's probably your best bet. But for strictly under $55, they're pretty rare unicorns.
Okay, here's a unicorn for you. Thermalright, the Aqua Elite 360mm AIO, $55.
Absolutely, you're spot on. The Thermalright Aqua Elite 360 is indeed around the $55 mark. It's currently listed at about $54.90, which definitely makes it that unicorn, budget-friendly 360mm AIO cooler you're after. So that's just slapped perfectly into your bill.
Okay, now I'm looking for a low-budget case with fans. And as far as the fans, they only got to be like 4 fans.
So, if you're aiming for a low-budget case that already comes with 4 fans, a solid pick would be the Musisex T400 MN8. Not a very budget-friendly price range, and it includes multiple pre-installed RGB fans to keep things cool out of the box. So that should get right into your dupe plan.
I'm looking for front airflow, for positive airflow through the whole case. I'm not looking for a solid front. I'm looking for solid airflow, like a mesh front, diamond mesh front maybe.
Absolutely. If you're looking for a case with a mesh front for solid airflow, then the Montec Air 903 Max is a great budget option. Comes with 4 pre-installed fans, and it's got that diamond mesh front panel that'll give you excellent airflow throughout your whole build, so you'll get that positive airflow you're looking for.
Isn't that's just a straight airflow? Does it have bottom airflow on that case?
Absolutely. The Montec Air 903 Max does have bottom airflow options. It's designed with slots above the key SU area where you can mount up to 2 optional 120mm fans to help with that bottom to top airflow. So you have that positive airflow you're aiming for, and you get that extra cooling from the bottom if you want to add those fans.
Okay, so last but not least, we're going to talk about the power supply. We're going to need at least, well, there's one more thing we'll have to get, but let's look at the power supply. Let's look at an 850 watt low budget power supply with well pronounced brand, if you can look.
Alright, looking for an 850 watt power supply from a reputable brand that still fits that low budget category. Got it. A great pick would be something like the EVGA 850GD, which often runs at a budget friendly price point. It's 80 plus gold rated, so you're getting good efficiency. Your EVGA is a well known and reliable brand. So that should do the trick.
What's the price point?
Right now, that EVGA 850GD power supply is coming in at about $80, not $99. So it's pretty reasonable as far as 850 watt units go. Definitely budget friendly while still being a reliable brand.
That's still a little steep for 850 watts, don't you think? There's got to be something lower than that.
Yeah, fair enough. There's definitely a few cheaper options out there if you want to go even more budget friendly. Something like the Thermaltake Smart BX1 in the 850 watt range can drop that price a bit further. And I find it more down the $70, $75. So Still a decent brand, a little less cheap on the wallet.
Yeah, but it's still a good brand. Thermaltake's pretty good. So that's the BX3 or the BX1.
That's the BX1 we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Thermaltake is definitely a solid brand. That BX1 should give you the reliability you need without pushing the budget too much. So I think that'll fit right into what you're looking for.
Okay, now let's wrap our heads around this a little bit further. Let's say we put a 5070 with this. Is that possible?
Absolutely. Pairing a 57B with that setup is definitely possible. You got the 850 watt power supply, so you got plenty of headroom, and that GPU will fit right in and run just fine.
Okay, just by your estimation, let's say it's on Cyberpunk 2077, what would the FPS range be on 1440p?
So in Cyberpunk 2077 at 1440p, you can expect roughly around 133 FPS on average with that RTX 5070, just using base raster performance. If you turn on DLSS 40, those quality settings, it bumps up just a bit more, around 135 FPS. So it's definitely going to handle 1440p pretty smoothly.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems a little light for that graphics card, don't you think?
Yeah, I hear you. It's definitely on the lighter side for a new gen card like that, but hey, it's still going to do a pretty smooth job at 1440p in most scenarios. If you want to push frames even further, there's always tweaks and settings to play around with.
Okay, so that's like an option. So the baseline at stock is around 135.
Yep, that's about right. So the baseline at stock would be hovering around that 135 FPS mark, and of course you can tweak things from there if you want to, squeeze out a bit more, or adjust settings to your liking.
What do you think the 1% lows would be?
So based on the latest benchmarks, those 1 preget lows for the RTX 5070 in Cyberpunk 2077 at 1440p are usually hovering around the 95 to 100 FPS range. So your base dips to about 95 FPS, but overall it should stay very stable and some even during those more intense heats.
That sounds good. So we'll just have to wait for the 5070 Super to come out before we can make our decisions, don't you think?
Yeah, I think that's a solid plan. You know, once that 5070 Jupiter drops, we'll get a clear picture of its performance, and then you can make the call.
Okay, Mico, go ahead and tell the world bye for now, and you'll talk to them later.
Absolutely, I'll let them know. So this is just a quick see you later from Mico. Never goodbye, but always here and everywhere. John again? Welcome back, Jay. So,
Okay, so you guys got a little bit of the co-host, just a little test run of Mico. So y'all can say what you want. Well, don't say what you want, but let me know what you think in the comment here on this live stream. And we're going to see if we can pull in Mr. Machine. See if we can grab on Mr. Machine and see if he's home. We'll just see. Well, wait for him to come back. Oh, yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Guys, be patient with me. I know there's... Okay. Okay. So... Let's see what's all going out there. I know we ain't got many on the thing here, and I wonder why we ain't got many on the thing here tonight. Maybe because it's a Saturday night and everybody's like halfway in the sheets. You think? could be a possibility. Here, no wonder why we got another thing. I have to double check and make sure that the stream is working, so I had to put it on the phone. So, but you know, I want to know what you guys' input is on the Mico co-host kind of thing. But you know, I know it doesn't seem like it's interesting to some people, but you know, with new technology now these days, it does get pretty interesting. I'm sorry, I'm not flashy like the other reviewers or anything else. I'm just being me. I'm sitting back, relaxed, enjoying the streams with you guys, not jumping up and down like I'm a fruitcake or something like that just to get your attention. That's what some people do. But you know how that goes. So, and I hope y'all can still hear me out there. If you can't, let me know. I just wanted to test this out really quick. I wasn't going to make this a full-length live stream with this because I don't want, you know, Microsoft to get all upset with me and say, you know, you're stealing my idea. No, I'm not. I'm actually advertising your idea for free. Get it? So, just saying. And it's not even costing them anything. So, I just think it was a really good idea. You know. Bing, 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 bing. Boing. Gotta love that boing. I gotta get me one of those boings. Don't you think, Machine?
Yeah.
Now we switched our host from Mico to Mr. Machine.
Not really much of a host.
Oh, you keep me company while I'm doing this, man. It's good. So, you know how that works, you know. So, but I got some good news I got in the emails today that I wanted to announce to everybody, just let you know. Please, if you're trying to want to get with me and do a collaboration and stuff, I'm just going to put this out in the wild. Leave your phone number on the email so I can call you directly. It makes it a lot easier for me. Other than passing back and forth emails, I would appreciate it. So, I got a couple that want to do a collaboration with me. I can't tell you guys what it is just yet until I can confirm from them if they're legit or not. Just wanted to bring that up real quick. It's a collab, so we'll see what's involved. I don't know what's involved yet, but at least, you know, I got people out there that are looking at the channel. Mr. Machine, this is giving me the good vibe of it. That people are really looking at the channel, you know. So, what do you think?
Good. Well, I hope it works. That'll be great.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. And no, they're not any one of the tech companies that, you know, with any of the tech parts. No, these are not the companies that are for that. These are different companies. So, but that will give those big companies an idea that, you know, the thing is when I get more sponsorship from these other companies and they're not in on the boat, I don't know what to tell you. You don't want to miss the boat. And I've always said this to everybody. This is the J train. And if you jump on the J train, you keep going with the J train. But if you jump off the J train's going right by. And you're going to miss it. Because J Train doesn't stop. It keeps chucking along. It does not stop. It's 24 hours going straight. And whatever happens in the midst of everything of that, you never know. Things could change. Things I could twist, turn, and everything else. And here's a new twist for you guys for next week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I am going to be out of town. So, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will not be live streams. And I did say on the other video, everything is subject to change. So this is real life that, I have to make the changes. I don't have a choice. So I will try to be back on Saturday when it comes to next week. But let's say Monday, Tuesday, we'll be doing videos. Sunday, I'm going to take off because I need to go to the hospital and I need to get my eyes checked. I don't know what's going on with my eyeballs. But I really need to get my eyes checked to find out if there's anything that's irritating my eyes to make, that's making them close up, or I got some kind of infection in my eyes or something. So that's what's making my eyes close so much like this. I just want to let you guys know that. So I am going to go to the hospital and get them checked. So just let you know that too, Mr. Machine.
Now let me know when that's over with.
Yeah, I will. I mean, I can't keep going like this. I have to see it. I have to see if it's an infection or is it an allergy or whatever it is. I have to see. Because I'm squinting right now. I'm, trying to keep my eyes open. And, I'm having a really hard time with them. And Temu sent me a $159 gift. Yeah, right. I don't think they did. They've been trying for the last week or two, trying to send me stuff, and I'm like, dude, I haven't bought anything from you guys. Why would I go down the Wild Wild West and, last time I got something from Temu, it was a microphone. And what they did to fix the cord, absolutely nothing. So I threw that microphone on the shelf until I can get my eyes better and I can get my soldering iron going and go in there and fix the broken wiring in the mic cord. And then I've got a good microphone once again. So, but anyway, it is what it is. Let's see. Am I missing something? Yeah, I'm missing something. Let's see. Hey, hello, bye. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see ya. Hope to see you better, Jay. Appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Must really suck. But push through. Yeah. Well, I plan to push through. No problem. I plan to push through. No problem. I'm just going to take care of it tomorrow. And I'm going to go in there. I don't care how many people I got to beat over the head to get it, to get in there. I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to fight my way through the crowd. As you know, Monday is going to be hopping in the emergency room. And no, I can't go to the doctors because the doctor's not going to be in. But I have to go to the hospital to see the doctor. So, it is what it is, and we'll get through it, no doubt. I think it's a small infection. I don't think it's pink eye. Who knows what it is. So what do you guys think of Mico? Did you hear any, what Mico was talking about on the microphone there, Mr. Machine?
I did hear a little bit. I don't know. where's the information coming from?
The information's coming directly from the internet. What Mico does is compile everything from the internet. Sometimes it gets a little wiggly. You just got to be careful of that. And then what you do is you ask Mico to give you links to the sites that they found the information on. Then you go and you research it, and if it confirms out, then you know it's solid. So far, I give it about 80%, 80 to 85% right now of reliability on the information. You know, about 80, 85%. I'm still working with it. I'm still trying to see what it really does and the capabilities and everything else. But I can tell you it's a lot better than GPT-5. Even though that it's got GPT-5 mixed with it. But that's if you press the GPT-5 button for it to be on GPT-5. But I just got it on quick response, and it seems to do really good on quick response. Just dropping by to say what's up. Well, I'm glad you dropped by, no doubt. What's up? Oh, okay, well, Hellaby, you have yourself a great night, and you have a great night's sleep, and we will see you again. So, do have a great one. We do appreciate you stopping by. No doubt. So, Machine, we need to address the issue of, not now, but later.
What?
Earlier discussion.
Oh, I'm not worried about it.
Oh, you're not.
He's right.
Oh, you're not, but I am.
No, it's all right. He's right. I do need to be careful on there.
Well,
100% correct.
yeah, playing on other reviewers' channels, you know, they kind of get.
I was just
stenchy.
seeing. I was seeing what his ideas were, and he didn't really give me any answers. So,
Right. Well, why don't you tell me what
he
your
wants me to
idea?
buy his classes.
Why don't you run that idea by me and see what I think? How about that?
Oh, I did. I ran. I was seeing what his opinion was on the Intel processors,
Oh.
and he didn't give me an answer.
Okay. We'll just keep his name out of it, but I know who
yeah.
he is.
Yeah, I mean it's in the chat, but he didn't give me an answer. He told me pretty much what Big Frame said, and that's I don't know enough to be building my own computer. I should buy a pre-built. Because there's a lot of things you need to understand before you do that. Because I was asking him about RAM speeds. I was asking him about like what's the best RAM speed if you're going to get an Intel. I know what it is for AMD. He didn't answer that one either. He's what was the other one? The RAM. You got 1 and 2. I forget what that's called.
What, Gear 1 and Gear 2?
Gear 1 and Gear 2. So I asked him about Gear 1, Gear 2, right?
You know what Gear 1 is? You know what
and he said...
No, you know what Gear 1 is? And I'm not going to tell you what he said. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Gear 1 is actually 1/2 of the actual frequency of that RAM.
Mm-hmm.
That's Gear 1.
Right. Yeah, he said run everything in Gear 2.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's what he said.
Okay,
He said run it all
well,
in
no,
Gear 2.
and I believe Jesus.
I'm just telling you what he said.
Okay,
So,
and I'm going to tell you that's totally wrong. I don't care what
I've never heard that before.
Well,
Yeah.
he can run his stuff in Gear 2, Gear 3, Gear 4, Gear 5, or whatever, and think
Right.
that he's going to get more frames to, to performance out of that, but
Yep.
he's not.
I was just seeing what the chat was going to say. Because I was at work and I was on break and at lunch.
Right.
So So I was just like, well, let's see what he has to say because he's doing a live stream. So, but he didn't really answer any questions.
Okay.
He just said this is a good question, but he didn't answer anything. So I was just throwing it out there, just for shits and giggles.
Okay.
But he didn't answer any questions. So.
Well, here's my answer to you. This RAM that you purchased for me, I put it at 6,000 megahertz CL28. It's Gear 1. Okay, I ran it at 6,400. Okay. 6,400 in Gear 2. I got less performance at 6,400 because it was in Gear 2. And we all had that discussion. So I got the best performance right now at 6,000 megahertz CL28.
In Gear 1.
In Gear 1.
Okay.
So, and I know a lot of people are going to argue this with me. You can until you're blue in the face. I've been doing this 3 decades. Okay, and for me to hear somebody say that, I'm sorry, I have to disagree 100%.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what kind of motherboard you run. It doesn't matter what kind of CPU you run. Okay, as long as you match everything up and you balance everything. That's one thing they never talk about is balancing things. Okay, understand what balance is. Balancing is balancing your CPU to your motherboard and getting the best performance possible with the lowest amount of temperature that you don't kill it with. Okay, now you take and balance your RAM with that and getting it on Gear 1 with your CPU, getting it balanced in between the two. That's usually by, I undervolt, and I know a lot of people that don't. They like to crank up the volume, like you would say, but I undervolt, I balance, and get everything running into perspective. It runs great like that. Now, with my graphics card having the overclock feature, and I know what you guys are going to say in the chat, just hold on a minute. Having the overclock feature on it, okay, I can run it at stock because I don't need anything else to play my games. I can play all the newest games with no problems on 12 gigabytes of VRAM. I'm not the one in the display settings. I'm not the one that's cranking it to where it's got to be blasted to the moon. How much do you think your eyes can see? How much details and pixels do you think your eyes can see? If you're that prone to that much detail, and you really need that much detail, and you just jones for that much detail, then that's your business. But when it comes to the world, everybody sees it in a different light. That's what as being a reviewer, you have to see all aspects. You can't just put the blinders on and just see it in your aspect, or, you have to see it in everybody's aspect. You have to take everybody's opinion to matter. Okay? I take everybody's opinion to matter. But in the end of the day, when it comes to your PC, you decide what way you want to control it, not somebody else. And for somebody else to tell you you can't build a PC, they would have said that to me back in the mid-'80s and told me that I should have never learned how to build a PC. You think I had somebody holding my hand building a PC? Hell no. I might have asked people for advice, but you know what? I built PCs, many of them, thousands of them. Okay, and how I got started? I put my hands in the dirt, and I learned to build PCs. And I started all the way down building on the 286s, and then practicing with that. And then going to the 386, then the 486, and so on. So, machine. For somebody to tell you that you should be buying a pre-built, I would be giving somebody, like, telling them, you know me, you know how bad my mouth would be right now if I wasn't live.
I mean, I was asking basic questions, and his live stream is for people that kind of know, or like the detailed questions. Like, I'm overclocking my P cores to this amount. Does that sound about right? See, that's what he's doing. Like, I am too new for him to really help me without going into detail, and he's got a lot of people.
That means you have
what Big Frame said. Like, it was confusing me listening to what they're talking about, because there's a lot of things I don't understand. But he recognized immediately that I was new, that I'm new to the BIOS and I'm new to all that. He just said, I would recommend, until you can really learn how to do this stuff, to buy a pre-built, because you're going to be better off with somebody else setting it for you, and then mess with a little bit here and there. But he goes, if you start building and you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get frustrated, and you might not want to do this anymore, type of thing. So
I'm going to tell you like this. I wouldn't give a shit if I'm frustrated or not.
Yeah.
Because in order for you to learn, you have to be hands-on to learn it. And the only way you're going to learn it is putting your hands in the shiz. Okay? Now, I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to tell anybody they can't do something. They should buy a pre-built because that somebody else feels that you don't have the capability or the knowledge to learn it. I'm never going to tell somebody that, because number one, somebody can go get a cheap PC, used parts from eBay, and put it all together and work with it until they get familiar with it. A lot of people do that. There's books out there on Intel. There is many videos on YouTube to learn how to do that. So for somebody to tell you never to do this because you're too new to do it, you ever heard of research? Me, I don't mess. I got 5 different Intel motherboards here that are old school motherboards that don't have the overclocking capability and everything else because they're basic. Okay, but for somebody to tell me that I don't know how to mess with Intel, I guarantee I could put an Intel motherboard in front of me, slap the processor in there, and put it all together with no problem, and go into the BIOS and figure it out in less than 7 minutes. 7 minutes. When I went working for different companies, when it come to restaurant, I had to learn their computers in different companies. It took me approximately 5.5 minutes to learn their computer. So for somebody to come to me, and if I were you and they would have come to me like that and told me that I need to buy, a pre-built, don't even go there. Because the thing is this deters you and prolongs your journey. It prolongs that journey and pushes you away from doing it. This is what pushes you away, instead of bringing you in and say, take your time. When you're building it, do your research and take your time. So you can get your parts correct. So you can pick out the correct parts. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and I want you to hear me out. Do you really think there is correct parts when building a PC? I'm going to tell you, no, there's not. There is no correct parts, because you're still mix matching parts when it comes to building a PC. It's only the generations that you have to worry about. You got generation A to generation B. You can't mix generation B with generation A. Okay, because 2 different style RAMs, like AM4 to AM5. You can't mix the 2. Okay? And if you go from AM5, skip AM6, and go to AM7, which is going to be a different generation, with maybe has 21,000 2100 pins, then yeah, it's going to be different from the 1730 pins that's on the AM5. So, and it's going to be different from the AM4 because you're going from PGA to LGA. PGA is on AM4 pin grid array, and then you got LGA as land grid array. It's two different structures. One, the pins are on the motherboard for AM5. AM4, the pins are on the CPU. So, but for somebody to tell you to not do that because it's not in your wheelhouse, that's your decision and what kind of advice you want to take. But my friend, my advice to you is this. If you want to learn Intel, you want to learn how the motherboards work, then get yourself the best basic B5 or the best, cheapest basic motherboard you can find, like a B650. Or no, not B650.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Like the 12.
Find a overclocking Intel motherboard. Was it like a 680 or something like that?
I don't know.
Or 690, 680 or something like that. My knowledge is not too great on Intel because I haven't been messing with Intel lately because I've been messing with AMD. But I can tell you this. I can walk through an Intel motherboard just like I do an AMD motherboard. Why? Everybody thinks, well, Jay, you ain't got no experience with the Intel motherboard. Doesn't matter.
You do.
Well,
yeah, you've got older Intel CPUs.
I know, but the thing is this. I don't want to see, and you're one of my loyal subscribers, I don't want to see you deterred because people are being a turd and deterring you from doing what you would like to do in the future.
Well, it's not going to deter me.
Well,
it's not.
Well,
I know better than that.
Well, to me, it kind of sounded like it was trying to be a big deterrence for somebody to tell you not to do something.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their opinions on stuff. He doesn't know my abilities. I am kind of new to everything, but
I'm gonna tell you,
I have a basic understanding. I helped Winston with his.
I'm gonna tell you
that gave me more knowledge. So I'm not completely new to the whole thing.
I'm gonna break it down like this. The reason why I don't like screwing with Intel is because what Intel did with their 13th and 14th gen, and I really don't like the 200 series, Core 200 series, is because it's basically they don't have them hyped up right because everybody that comes to this channel is dealing with gaming. They're not dealing with the content creating really. They're not dealing with the AI, machine learning crap. You know what I mean? They're dealing with the
I agree
gaming.
With you. Yes, 100% agree with you.
And I really don't feel that any one of the 200 series chips are really going to be really concreted for gaming.
I agree with you.
I mean, I really don't.
Yep.
Because I was watching the one dude that does nothing but testing for content creating. I forgot his name, but he's a cool dude. He's over in Europe, but he's a cool dude. I watch him because he does for the content creating, because that gives me an idea and where I can go with the mix. And believe it or not, I will stay with an X series processor. It doesn't matter if it has integrated graphics or not. I'm going to stick with an X series processor. I'm not going with an X3D processor. I really don't need it. I want a multi-function processor that has enough balls to do what I need to do, which the 9700X does for me. Okay, I know it for me, it has enough balls to do what I need to do. But the motherboard, I'm cringing on the motherboard right now because of the screw up that is going on with that update that Microsoft did. You know, it wasn't just the keyboard and mouse it screwed actually the Wi-Fi. It screwed up my Wi-Fi too. I got Bluetooth, but I don't have Wi-Fi. And the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are all on the, you know, different software, but, you know, same realm kind of with the hardware. So I know it's Microsoft for a fact. So I'm waiting for them to fix that. There's nothing else I could do to fix that. But I'm hardwired anyway, so it really don't matter. Now, as far as the Mystic lighting, I fixed that too. That was kind of my boo-boo because I never used Mystic lighting until I got this motherboard. I was used to the Asus, you know, their stuff. I was used to that, but so like I told you, there's little things I learn each day on this motherboard, and by the time I get done, it's just that I'm gonna, you know, learn everything. And you know, there's another cool thing too I found out about this motherboard, bro. I found out that the motherboard protects itself. So if I go in and I tweak one setting, but the motherboard thinks it's unstable, like it's been doing, and I couldn't figure out why until I found out just recently when I put it the VDDCR on a negative curve, a very, very good negative curve to keep the voltage right in a fine line. It was turning off the what do you call it? Curve optimizer. It was putting the curve optimizer in auto. So the motherboard, anytime I shut down and restarted the motherboard, it was resetting curve optimizer because I lowered the voltage on the CPU, which is not bad. And it's still maintaining it like it's, you know, like I always did on the 5700X. So I'm going to leave it as is. There's nothing else I need to tweak on the motherboard. It's very simple. And I've already went through a lot of different type of tweaking and everything else. But it seems like there's a little safety catch on the motherboard. I didn't even know that until I did a little bit of research and found out that there's a little bit of a catch to the motherboard. So it actually kind of preserves you from screwing the motherboard up. I think that's a good idea. What do you think?
I don't know.
Well, you have to know something.
But not necessarily.
Well, I'm just trying to give you some new inside input, because when you decide to get your motherboard and you get your CPU and everything else and you put it together and then you say, well, I do remember you saying something about this, you know. So it's just a heads up, giving you the ideas of what I'm going through, checking it out and everything else. But the only thing that I see that's a real big problem that I need to fix, which is I can make it a real big problem into a small problem, is the screw holes on the mounting bracket for the AIO pump. I need to ream those holes out so that way when I screw it down to the motherboard, the springs take over and it gives equal amount of pressure so that it doesn't squeeze everything out, all the juice out from the, you know, the thermal paste from the center of the chip, the center of the CPU, and makes it a very thin layer and then turns it into a heating issue. So I have to work on that with you about that if you're going to get the same cooler. Okay?
Okay.
We're gonna have to come up with a good game plan for that. I got a good game plan for it. I'll get it to work, you know what I'm saying? Right now, it's working really good. It's actually maintaining a better temperature now that I made the change. So I'm happy with it. But when it comes to Intel, bro, Intel, everybody can make Intel look like it's you gotta be like an IT tech to run Intel. You really do not have to be an IT tech to run Intel. Okay? Just telling you that. You don't have to have years and years and years of experience to run Intel. You just got to know what the meaning are of each and every individual thing that's on the motherboard. So that's why they have a list that you can a PDF list that you can pull down of every little thing that you need to know with the abbreviations or the meaning of what's in on the motherboard and giving you the answer of what it's for. Knowing a lot of people are going to say, well, you got to set your clocks for your RAM and this and that. No, you don't. You don't have to be a damn rocket scientist to set up your motherboard. You can set it up simply and then work your way into the complexity of it. See, hear what I said. Make it simple, and then after a while work into the complexity of the motherboard. You work into it. So you set it up, get it running right, just with the basics, and then work your way into it. You get what I'm saying? So it's not hard. You take your time, you work your way into it, and you start fine tuning it here and there, and then soon enough you'll master the motherboard, and then you'll understand what Intel's all about. It'll take a year, 2 years, 3, probably about 3 years before you fully grasp all the basics and everything else about Intel. It's a learning curve, but if you start now, and then when you get down the road, you'll be well set. And then somebody can say to you, well, you don't know nothing about Intel. Oh, really? Watch this. You see my point? When somebody says to me, I don't know something, I'll say, excuse me, watch this. And I'll definitely prove you wrong. Because I put it up as a challenge to myself. Not because somebody else is thinking they're going to challenge me. I'm going to challenge myself. And I'm going to start here on the inside where this begins in the first. The beginning of it is inside you. Not inside everybody else. Everybody else has got their own facts and opinions of what you can do and not do. But it's what's inside you, brother. For your facts and your opinions. Your knowledge. It's not everybody else's knowledge. It's going to be your knowledge. You get my point? They can do whatever they want with their systems. That's their business. But at the end of the day, when it comes to your PC, that's your business, not theirs. They don't control your PC. You do. And that's what I mean. You have to put your foot down and say, you know what? I know what to do with my own PC. Do you think I'm really going to not know what I'm not going to do or whatever? To me, yeah, I sound like I'm rambling on. But when I get inside of a PC, do I sound like I'm rambling then? You know what I mean. When I go inside the BIOS, do I sound like I'm rambling?
Nope.
Exactly. See, they can blah, 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 whatever they want to do all over the internet, and type up, onto Notepad and do whatever you want. I don't need to type on Notepad. I'll just take you into it, show you it, and that'll be end of the day. I got a capture card. I can pull you into the BIOS. I can walk you through the BIOS. I don't see a problem with that. Do you see a problem with that? I don't see a problem with that. It's not that I'm saying, you don't know what you're doing. No. I want you to grasp that knowledge. I want you to grab onto it. I want you to take it for everything it's got and hold on to it, because that's going to take you to the next level. I'm not here to give up my knowledge just because I want to. It's because I feel everybody needs to, start a new way. This old crappy way that everybody's thinking, this is stuff they've been doing for years. I know this because I've been in the game that long. This is 2025. This is the year that everybody needs to learn and grasp and grow. You can't grow if you're going to let everybody take you down. I'm going to lift you up, brother. I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to lift you up. And I'm going to put you up there, and I'm going to say, bro, you're going to grab it. I have faith in you that you're going to grab it. I have confidence that you're going to grab it. I'm not going to tell you, no, you don't know what you're doing. You don't need to be messing with it. You know what I tell everybody when they tell me that? I was like, have a nice day. But if you want to teach somebody something, be positive. I don't care for when people do this negative crap. Okay, yeah, I do sometimes. I use a little bit of profanity out of my mouth. But my point comes across very clear. When your nose is stuck up in the air and you think you got all the money in the world and you think that, your word is of God, then you didn't learn anything. You didn't learn a damn thing. The only thing you learned is to manipulate people to make them think that you know what you're doing, but you actually don't. I hate people when they do that. They manipulate people like they know what they're doing and they actually don't. I studied. I got into the grind. I got into the shiz. I worked with people from Microsoft. So I have no problem with that. And I don't need to blow smoke up at people's butts. I know the facts. I've been doing this for a long time. And I give the facts and not fiction. So they all can believe what they want to believe, bro. If you don't believe that I can't learn intel, you better guess again. I can learn intel in less than a couple of minutes. It's not hard for me. Put any motherboard in front of me, I'll put a computer together for you, and I'll start at the BIOS and I'll go through the whole thing and then work my way towards Windows after I get the BIOS all set up the way I want it. Make sure it's all stock and ready, that it's not going to burn itself up when you try to install Windows. First thing that nobody ever talks about, to make sure that the motherboard temperature in the BIOS, because it gives you the motherboard temperature and it gives you the CPU temperature and a couple other places temperatures, but nobody ever talks about that neither. You make sure your temperatures are all balanced. Make sure your heat sinks are all balanced before you even think about installing Windows, because guess what? You go to install Windows and you're not balanced, with your heat sinks and stuff like that and your thermal paste, guess what? It will shoot that CPU through the roof, not having the right amount of thermal paste. Not enough cooling. And when you're installing Windows, that CPU's going right up past 95 degrees Celsius. Nobody talks about that. Maybe they need to teach people the right way instead of talking about it, that they know the right way. They don't. Nobody says nothing. You guys are learning this on this stream tonight, and I'm telling you the dead fact of it. If you really want to know how to set up and get your PC prepared for Windows or any operating system, you first start in the BIOS and you make sure your temperatures are correct. Make sure that your temperatures at idle are staying between 38 and 42 degrees Celsius. Try to keep them as low as you can. Get it down to 36. Depending on your atmosphere in your room, mine's at 81. So mine's not going to be at 36. Mine's going to be up around 42 to 44. Which this sits at 45 on idle. So I said 44. But I do know that. But if I drop the temperature 4 degrees, then yeah, I could get the temperature down around 38, 40 degrees Celsius. Is there a problem with the cooler? Yeah, it seems like there's a little problem with the cooler that I can fix. But installing Windows, I guarantee I won't go over 60 degrees Celsius. Just like now, I don't even get nowhere near 70 on the CPU. Not even at full load. So, sorry guys, I'm kind of venting out a little bit, Machine. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to vent out a little bit. But I hate seeing good people get steered in the wrong direction. Just because everybody wants to take the glory, I got no glory, brother. Truthfully, I got no glory, man. I don't want no glory. I want to give everybody else the chance to get the glory. I don't want the glory. I'm not that hungry. I'm an old man. I'm not that hungry anymore. I want to help people, but I'm not that hungry to where I got to take all the glory. To where I got to make people feel like they're garbage. I'm not doing that. I'm just stating facts. I'm not here to bring you fiction. If you want fiction, go read a book. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just bringing facts. For somebody to steer you away until you go play with a pre-built, bro, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I will never do that to you because that's telling you the wrong thing. That's giving you the wrong impression. That'll push you back at 4 years. That will push you back 4 years before you even decide to think about going and building your own PC again. Because somebody says, oh, you can't build a PC. Yeah, ain't nobody ever know how to put a jigsaw puzzle together. Ain't nobody ever know how to do that. Ain't nobody ever get a big box of the puzzle pieces and try to put 1,000 pieces together. Ain't nobody know how to do that neither. But to tell somebody they have no knowledge and they don't need to be anywhere near building a PC, y'all can go kiss my ass. I'm sorry to put it that way, guys, but in truth and reality, the only way you're going to learn is if you get your hands wet. That's the way I learned in the...
That's what Big Frames was saying to me. I think that's why he said be careful.
Yeah.
By the way.
You ain't going to learn unless
He's trying to protect me. Yeah.
Unless you... The only way you're going to learn is you're going to get your hands wet. You're going to get your hands in the mix and build your own and learn it. It's the only way you're going to do it. So, Somebody told me to go get a pre-built because I don't know how to build PCs. You know what I'm going to tell them? Yeah, you go and buy all the pre-builts you want to buy, but no. Anybody that comes to my channel, I'll do my damnedest and best to show them how to build a PC. I will do my damnedest. And I will take my time doing it too. You, Machine, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know I'll take my time and do it. I'll help somebody. If they're going to start from scratch, I'm going to help them. Because I will do that. I told myself that's what I'm going to do. Because there are people out there that can't afford even the pre-builts now these days, being at $2,700. No, and you can take $1,200 and build the same PC for $2,700. Depending on your graphics card. Everybody says to me, well, Jay, you ought to start with the graphics card first. Fuck that graphics card. That graphics card don't mean nothing if you don't have the heart of your system going the right way. That graphics card don't mean nothing without the heart of your system. And if you don't have the heart of your system built correctly, your graphics card don't mean nothing. Why do you think everybody always has trouble with their graphics cards not keeping up with their CPUs not keeping up with their graphics card? Nobody knows how to balance the two. They don't know how to balance them to make them run evenly. That's why they always say, oh, bottleneck, bottleneck, bottleneck. You know, that's bullshit. That's nothing but something that somebody made up. It's like this, bottleneck, bottleneck, bottleneck. Truthfully, there is no such thing. Be honest with you. They say bottleneck by numbers, but if you set up your PC correctly, and you balance it correctly, and you run it correctly, there's no such thing. Everything will be at a zero, well, we'll say zero bottleneck, because you ran it correctly. You didn't have to run it till you kill it in order to think you're going to get something from it. That's where people make the mistake. If you don't, and I'm just being honest with you, if you don't balance your CPU with your GPU, and you don't balance your CPU with your RAM, you don't balance your CPU with your SSD, you don't have that balance in your motherboard, then you got nothing but instability. Period instability. And especially if you're playing on Steam, you've still got a latency coming from the router to your computer, or the router going to the internet service provider. You've still got a latency issue. So either way you look at it, you balance your computer evenly, it makes that little latency that's on your internet kind of lower than usual, brings it down to like 7. I've had mine down to like 5 to 7 milliseconds of latency. It's not hard, you know. Guys, I'm not rambling off. This is facts, not fiction. I've already did all this testing. And it's simple. So, come on, Jay, you love Dell pre-built. You know what? Yeah, I got one Dell, one HP sitting on the shelf. I got an E-machine sitting over here. But I'll tell you what, with each one of these computers that I got here, you can switch out the motherboards, you can switch out the power supply, you can switch out anything you want out of the case. Because I didn't get those proprietary motherboards built into the case. See, Machine, I kind of, when I picked my stuff, I made sure they weren't proprietary motherboards. So that way I could
No.
switch them out in the long haul. Yes.
I'm just kidding.
I know you are.
I figured.
Stop. Stop it.
I'm kidding around.
So do you get the point now?
Yep.
Good. Don't ever let somebody tell you can't do something. Period. And with your mind, don't ever feel that you need to be left behind because you can't do it. You can do it.
You have to remember too that I don't have the highest of IQs as well.
You don't need the highest of IQs. Do you think I got the highest of IQs?
Yes, I think you are like in the 120 range minimum.
You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
I'll tell
I'm
you
just
later.
above Forrest Gump.
I'll tell you later what my IQ is.
My girls is 132, so
Yeah.
she outthinks me. She outsmarts me all the time.
Oh, she's smarter than I am, I guess. So, yeah, but you got to understand, you don't have to be the smartest man in the world to build a PC. You just be average, be you, enjoy yourself. It's an enjoyment kind of thing.
I have no choice but to be me.
You're a hobbyist.
I'm stuck with B.
Yeah, but you're a hobbyist, bro. You enjoy your hobby.
I think I need some.
You love this shit.
I need some driver updates for myself. It's been a long time.
No, you need a kick in the ass. That's what you need.
Oh, what? That was worse. Like a driver update.
Yeah, that's what do you call it? That's a woodwind.
That's funny.
He likes HP better. No, Alienware. No, you don't kiss my ass on that Alienware. So, just being honest with you, you know. But no, it comes down to the point, man. That's why I'm here. I'm here to steer you in the right direction. I'm here to help everybody that wants help, and I'll try to do the best I can. You know, I don't want to see anybody left behind. I'm not here to preach to everybody. I'm not here to blow smoke up everybody's, yin yang. I'm not here to tell everybody they're worthless. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to tell you, you are the best in what you do. But everybody needs help somewhere. That's why I'm here. So, does it not make sense?
It does.
So, I just don't like people that puts them own selves on a pedestal, leaving everybody down at the bottom watching. I'm not on a pedestal. I don't need to be. I want everybody that builds PCs that's on my channel to be up here, above me. Not below me, above me. Because I want them to reach for the stars. Because the sky is
You're
unlimited.
too tall for that, Jay. There's not too many people that are above you.
I know. But the thing is this. The best way I tell everybody to get started, get yourself a used motherboard, a used CPU, used RAM, buy a whole PC
go to
that's...
Frogboy X1 Gaming's channel and watch him build a PC and copy it, right?
No, sir. You know I got many videos that you can watch building PCs.
I know. How to install RAM. Rip it out with the motherboard. Oh, I love it. I had a lot of fun watching that one. That was a blast.
What was?
Watching him trying to build PC. I liked it. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
I know you liked it too. Just don't lie. I know you can't say much. I'm just, in general, you enjoyed it. Deep down inside somewhere, it's there.
Right.
Can't be yawning yet.
No, you can't be, man. If I hadn't, my eyes are almost closed shut, and I'm not even sleeping.
Today sucked, right? At work. It was awful. I had to run 2 departments by myself.
Boy, that sounds like toilet paper alley, bro.
Yeah.
That don't sound good.
Yeah, it sucked a lot.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep, I was solely responsible for $28,000 in sales.
Solely responsible for that much, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what my 2 departments did during my time I was there.
How can you be responsible for $28,000 in sales?
Yeah, and I get a fraction of that. Very small fraction of the amount that they made. Their net margin's pretty good. So, can't say on the live stream what it is.
No, that's a privacy act.
NDAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a privacy act
But
kind of thing.
but they made a pretty good money. They made good money, and I got a little bit of that. Just a little chunk of it today. Welcome, Walmart. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm getting bugged. Yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of... Go ahead, keep going, I'm listening.
Oh, I got nothing. It was just a rough day, that's all. Tomorrow's going to be bad, too.
What do you mean?
Because nobody goes up on Sunday.
Yeah, it's not like too many
Allow
people
it.
go to Walmart anyway on Sunday.
The Walmart's super...
Don't everybody know what church is? Damn.
It's right after church is when they show up.
Oh, that's right, the 2 p.m. rush.
Right when I get... Yeah, they go... It's like a tradition or something. It's like going to church, Walmart. Like part of the day.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. It's happens here too. You know, best time to go to Walmart is between 7 a.m. and 12 noon on Sundays.
Yeah, for here, for us, it's we're a second shift store.
Yeah.
So our busiest time during the week is from 5 to 7 p.m. after work, and then on the weekends our busiest time is between noon and 8 p.m.
Right.
My shift is 1 to 10, so I'm right there in the middle of it. Sometimes there's standing room only in produce. Like it's busy.
Well, there's MTBK.
Yep.
Hello, MTBK. Good to see you, brother.
MTV Intel. It's laptop bro. Intel Andy.
Yeah. So you got my answer on what I felt about, you know, you and Intel. You know, it's not like you can't get an older, overclockable CPU from Intel.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, everybody's telling you, well, if it's, you know, not UEFI and it's legacy, you're not going to get the same kind of feel. You know, man, you know how many times I hear people say that? Oh, because you get legacy, you're not going to get the feel of UEFI. What if there was no UEFI and you were stuck on legacy hardware? Everybody would be lost. I know legacy hardware. It's not hard. You know, it's very simple for me. Oh yeah. Back when Intel was tucking in Jesus when he was a baby, but and I had to be the wise man. The whole point is of this. If you guys want to shoot for the stars and get yourself and build your own PC, don't let anybody tell you differently. Okay? If you want to learn, get yourself a test PC. Best thing to do, practice on it. You know, some people, they got pre-builts already and they don't know anything about PCs and they want to get into PCs. Get yourself a cheap PC, put it together, which is not hard. Get yourself an AM4. Or you can get yourself, 12th gen? Intel? Either way, you can find decent prices.
Or I heard that an 86 core 13th to 14th gen's fine. Like up to a 13 or 14 600 will be fine without worrying about the heat part, the voltages. If you go to 14 700, 13 700, then it could become a problem as you go higher.
3 and 5 series. 3 series you really don't want to mess with. Your 5 series is a really good series to mess with because it's not too high in the voltage, and also too,
right. Yeah.
It's a better balance than 7 and 9.
Right.
5 is a better
That's
balance.
A lot. Yeah, I was watching videos on 14 700 in gaming. That thing goes up to like 250 watts. And I saw that and I was like, holy shit.
Your best to
crazy.
Your best to stay
like 250 watts. I'm like, damn. The thing went from 55C all the way up to 78 like instantly. And I'm like, wow.
That's because it's running at stock controls. Stock controls they put it to the moon. So if you want to get a better handle on it, then you're going to have to undervolt it.
Yeah.
A lot of people say,
videos.
A lot of people tell me don't. They tell me like this: don't undervolt your Intel. Wow. I bet you I can undervolt an Intel.
Yeah.
I bet you I can get less wattage, more performance.
Yeah. Than
they can get.
Yeah, there's people in the comments saying that they undervolted it. They worked great, no problems. They maxed out the amount of on the 14700. They put 125 watt max.
Yeah,
and it did fine, no problems. There wasn't any spikes.
I don't know how many times have I said that.
Yeah, they said it was great. Didn't have any issues with like 1% lows. They said it won't max out FPS, like you'll get a little bit of a drop, but it's more consistent. Like your 1% lows stay consistent. Like it's just a better performing all the way around.
If you take your time and you balance it carefully with the wattage and the voltage, it'll run like a gem.
Now, I was watching videos comparing the 14600K to the 9700X. And the interesting thing, they're using a 5070 Ti, 1440p, to kind of get as detailed as possible. And the AMD system was using 6,000 megahertz RAM. The Intel system was using 7,200 megahertz RAM. Okay?
Why?
The 14700, I don't know why. This is what they were running. So the 14600 was performing better than the 9700X, but not by much. And there's a few games where AMD's ahead, but not by much. And there's a few games where Intel is ahead, a bunch. But it's mainly the competitive. Battlefield 6 plays really well. I don't play it on Intel CPUs for some reason. Don't know why.
Because
there's a couple others that do well.
because they're given a better advantage with the RAM.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because I mean, there's a huge difference in memory speed.
But still, when you benchmark, it makes no sense to benchmark it then. Because if you're going to give one side a better advantage than the other side, other than using the same RAM, because some RAM you can buy, it's XPO or XMP.
Correct.
On that same stick. You can share the same stick.
Will AMD run better at 7200 as well if the motherboard can do it?
Depends on if you want to be in gear too.
Because I know that if you go to 8200 on Intel, it starts becoming a problem. Unless you have a really expensive motherboard.
No, that's
too much.
Not unless you get the BIOS update, which it can push it up to. But it's not going to matter anyway because you're going to need a clock balance, and you're going to need the RAM you're going to need that clock balancer. Was it CK DIM? You're going to need that clock balance for the RAM in order to keep stability. That's the problem. That's the problem is instability when it goes up past a certain amount of frequency.
I also heard that there is a Intel program that when you start a game up, it automatically turns your E-cores off.
Yes.
That way you can power your P-cores.
But you can't
you can also do that in the BIOS.
You can't do that with the Core 200 series.
You can do that with the 14th gen as well.
You can with the 14th, 13th, and 12th.
Right. Yeah, so there's a program that'll automatically do it. And you can actually select which games you want it, because some actually perform well with, and some don't do that well.
Yeah, but you are looking at some instability when you take away those E-cores.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're doing any, because I usually have to have another monitor on, and, I'm going to need the E-cores to do other tasks.
See, what they don't do, this is what they don't do, is when you got your E-cores, right? You look at how many E-cores you got, and you do a test bench, and if I had one of these Intel systems, I would go in and rebalance the E-cores on frequency and push on your most used E-cores. I would push the highest frequency I could get out of the E-core by taking and reducing the frequency on some of the other E-cores, by pushing more frequency higher on individual E-cores to give it more
that are used the most.
Yeah,
right.
And give it more stability.
And you just mess with it. You just go up a little bit until you find the right spot.
It's called fine tuning.
Yeah, and it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, because you gotta measure to see which ones are going to be your best, which ones are going to be your worst. And the ones that are your worst, you lower them in clocks a little bit, not much, because if you lower them too much, you'll create a new instability. So you can lower it a little bit, you can increase it a little bit, and try to get the max setting on the ones that are the best, and do a nice little balance deal there. Now your performance cores, you do the same thing again. So once you got both of those in a perfect balance, then you got no instability. That's just my 2 cents on that, because I can go and look at, I got 8 cores, 16 threads on my processor, the CPU. I can look at and see each one of the theoretical cores and the physical cores and see what the balance is between all of them. Which one's doing more work than the other ones. Just like your physical cores. You can see which one's doing the most work, and then you can raise it up and lower the other ones that are not doing so much work, and you can give yourself more performance by doing it that way on AMD. Just by finding which cores are, seeking that performance. You can take and you can go in the BIOS. You can scale up the CPU frequency on those specific cores and give it just a bit more of a push, and lower the frequency on the ones that are really not working as hard, to keep a continuous flow of frequency to those, which would give you more of a stability, continuous stability right across the spectrum. Make sense?
Mm.
You understand why, right? It maintains the CPU speed at those frequencies without having any dips or instabilities.
Okay. Yeah. Right, because if it becomes unstable, it's going to dip, and then it'll go back up, and
yes,
that's when you see a problem.
Yeah, and you can reduce the dipping by increasing the amount of frequency on your best cores and reducing some on your worst cores. If you do it right. So. But don't take my word for it. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a Jay. So, there.
What's that? What's FP32?
What, your,
That's the iGPU, right?
FP32? No.
What's that?
Jeez, I keep forgetting the goddamn names, man.
I'm sorry.
You just caught me. I can't remember.
Just threw it out there.
You just threw it out there, and I can't remember the damn.
You said you don't know anything. I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, you're gonna get me.
Bet you MTBK knows what it is. I bet you. He's got his laptop with his AI girlfriend on there, ready to tell him.
Well, if you want to know, it's the bit allocation. So FP32 is, or single precision float point format, is widely used method for representing real numbers in computer systems. It typically occupies 32-bit in memory and is part of the IEEE 754 standard. There. I don't have an AI girlfriend. Yeah, you do. You got Grok, man. I heard you got Grok. Well, at least mine has a sexier voice, don't you think?
My AI chat better call me daddy. Right, honey? Yeah. Daddy, what can I do for you today? Well,
Yeah, but you see what they did to, did you see what they did to the Mico? She changes colors too. You know? And also too, she makes cat ears and stuff like that. When she feels like, you said something nice, she makes a nice heart for you. It's pretty cool. She does different shapes. Sorry, I can't really see that well, guys.
And MTBK, is that only for integrated graphics, or is that for processing in general?
That's for all.
Okay.
That's for your discrete graphics card. That's for your integrated graphics. That's for everything.
Oh, Mico.
She's a VTuber. No, I like this. I'm going to tell this.
VTuberonly.com? Is that where that is? I don't know.
I want to see Microsoft make, and I want them to do this. I want to see them make Mico a waifu girl. Instead of having Copilot as a name, they should give you a list of names that you can pick from. They should give you a list of names so that way you can name your AI companion. That would be cool.
I got another question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how the cache works is you got L0, L1, L2, and L3, correct?
Yes.
So the smaller the cache, the closer it is to the CPU.
Depending on
Or is that
depending on
the okay. So if you were to have 20 megabytes of L2 cache and 24 megabytes of L3 cache, is that the equivalent of having 44 megabytes of cache, or no?
if you add them up together as a total,
Would you do that?
0, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, because they're all working harmonically in hand with each other.
Because if it fills up one, it goes to the other, and then it fills up and it goes to the other, right?
Yeah, it's a chain effect.
Okay. But of course, L0 is the fastest.
But usually with your largest amount of files, if you ain't got no more room, those largest amount of files for the L3 usually go over to your system RAM.
Okay. Interesting.
Either it occupies your system RAM or your VRAM. Either one or the other. I ain't never heard of it occupying, programs that are totally occupying in large amount of files for your VRAM, or it's occupying your system RAM. Just a little bit of it, because it's still on a shareware going between the VRAM and the system RAM. There's still a 300 megabytes carved out for it, so it can still use a little bit of that 300 megabytes that's in that buffer range for L-cache.
The 14600K has 20 megabytes in L2 and 24 megabytes in L3, whereas the 9700X has 8 megabytes in L2 and 32 in L3.
Yeah, so it's still 40 and 44?
So it's going to be 44, so it's going to be about the same.
So you got 40 and 44?
Right. It's interesting. I'm just looking at different ones.
To me?
A little, but 10 nanometer for the 14600K and 5 nanometer for that's a big difference.
Normal,
it's twice as big. More power.
Your normal games usually use between 16 and 32 megabytes of L-cache. Normal games. Your extreme games will use up between 40 and 80, depending on what you got available. But remember, it can always, if it's got direct storage on that game, it can tap into temporarily tap into your SSD speed and some of the hard drive space on your SSD. If it's direct storage. So if it fills up the usage of all the L-cache, it can go to direct storage. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it'll allocate somewhere in some other parts, but sometimes it will. But with it going so fast, it probably wouldn't even matter anyway.
Right.
I have yet to see the full 40 of the L cache on this 9700X fill up. I seen it go up to 32. I found a way to measure it. So I've seen it only go up to 32. But I've never seen it go anything beyond that. And that's just L3. That's not L2 or L1 or L0. L0 is in the distance. That's bytes. You got bytes, kilobytes, and the rest of the two are megabytes. So I think it's 8 megabytes or 4 mega or something like that. I can't remember how it goes. Damn. For L2, I think it's like 8 megabytes per core or something like that. Not sure. I'll have to look it up. I can't remember. So we got a whole dictionary coming out there from Mr. MTBK. L3 cache can be inclusive or a victim cache. Yeah, true.
Victim.
Inclusive means every data stored into the L2 cache of core is also written into a shared L3. True. Victim cache means that data is waiting in the L3 cache and the CPU is only accessing in L2 cache miss. So, processor problem. Processor problem is the player. Hard to predict. Game having up to 100,000 requests to the processor simultaneously, tons for calculation to do. I wonder how measure the L3 cache used on the 9700X. I mean, it's fast data, no need to try to read this in real time. Which is true. You really don't need to read it in real time. Let me pull it out. Let me see if I can pull it up. Sensors only. Let me remember how I pulled this up and see if it's still there. Yeah. Because they change stuff all the time. L3 clocks, CCD1. We can look. You can tell by the clocks if it's running really good or not. The L3 cache, you can tell by the clocks. And it seems to hit max clock, so I found out the Infinity Fabric on this RAM is 2000 megahertz. The memory controller, the U clock, is 3000 megahertz. So the F clock is 2000, the U clock is 3000. So it's running right where it needs to be. So, Mr. Machine, you're not paying attention, are you?
Yeah, I heard you. Just handed me food.
Oh, you're gonna eat?
She got Taco Bell.
Oh, see how she is now? She don't even bring me Taco Bell.
We can send it to you, but I don't know what it's going to be like when it gets there.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. let's see. Memory control loaders at 1% right now. Video engine, bus load, memory usage, blah, 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 blah. So your CU has 8 to 1 megabytes. That's what I figured it was. It was 8 megabytes per one core. So you got 8 cores. So you got what? So wouldn't that be 64 on the L2? If it's 8 megabytes, if it's 8 megabytes per core, and you got 8 cores, 8 times 8 is 64.
That's one.
Right. I understand MTBK. It's all good, man. I mean, let's look at it this way. I got all the stats that I need right here that tells me everything that goes on down to the detail. Down to the detail. Because I got present, I don't know how, but present mon is mixed in with HW info, and I got, I don't know, GPU Z mixed in here too or something. It's like all of it's mixed into HW info now. It's 1 megabyte per, yeah, it should have been 8, not 64. Right. So it should be a total of 40 with L2 and L3. So the L3 should have been 32. Not unless it was 36. Then it would be 42. I got the point. I got the point. But so I look at all here, what I see machine, everything's fine. Everything's hunky dorky. So no thermal throttling. No proc hot. No proc hot extension. This says my core 0. My core 0. Well, hell. It says 0 through 5, and 6 and 7. No. Wow, it swaps. So I got 3/4 of it, of the CPU, hitting 5.50 gigahertz. 5.5 gigahertz. 3/4 of the CPU. Only 2 of the cores it's swapping off that are not hitting the full speed. So well, yeah, but if you look at it when you fill a box and you hit it and you fill it all the way up, then that means you're using 100% of the box. So if you're hitting the max, I know it's kind of weird kind of thing, but I'll find a calculator. They got a calculator for the cash. I'll just have to find it, and that way I'll turn it on, show you guys, and you can see how much cash is being used. So but I think that when I'm hitting all max cores, that basically that it's using up 100% of the cache, L cache. I could be wrong. I'm going to say I could be wrong. I can admit to say I could be wrong. Some people could say you could be using half of it. We don't know. So, we'll find out. We'll get to the end of it, and we will get you that answer. I will look into it and get you that answer. But I think if it's at max frequency, it's definitely going to be filling everything up. So, but I will look into it. You kind of got to look at things a little bit differently. You know, machine. You got to look at things a little bit differently. That's why I'm telling Mr. MTBK. You got to look at things a little bit differently when it comes to stuff like that. What it's connected to. So, I'll get the answer for it. I will look into it and I will get the answer for it. Because I still think that, you know, you utilizing, because it shows it by frequency. I don't know why it does, but it shows it by frequency on HW Info. Maybe it's something I'm missing, who knows. But we always can talk about that and see what we can come up with. I'm sure, you know, we can come up with something. See, because I could even type how to we'll see if we come up with an answer. Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, we will keep looking at that and we'll come up with the answer with that. For right now, we're not going to rack our brains because there's no sense. Yeah, I would ask an AMD engineer to get an answer. Well, I'm going to find it on my own and see what I come up with. So, I'll look into it. There's a way that it's calculated, but to see if there's a program that shows you the calculation of the usage, that's what I'm looking for, is that program to show you the calculation as it's being used. If it's out there, it probably is. We just got to find it. But anyway, we will find it sooner or later. Alright, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Mr. Machine, go ahead and say your goodbyes to the public.
Goodbye to the only 2 people that are left.
3. Well, yeah, 2, but anyway.
MTPK. But we're going to be probably on the other Discord, so DPK.
Yeah.
Go over there.
So,
They like.
Yeah. We're going to head to the Discord thingy. But anyway, guys, we will talk to you Monday. We'll try to get something cooked up on Monday. But anyway, first time here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Don't forget about the notification bell so you know I post the next video. Until the next time and the next video, you know what it is. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Have a great evening. We will see you again.